Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the pod. It all depends on the situation. I am your host once again, Eric Brown, and I am joined today by my two co-hosts, Shawn to my left.
How's it going?
And Jeremy, newcomer to the pod, right across the table.
Yo.
So happy to have both you guys in studio today. Should be fun. So we're going to do a little bit of a video game retrospective part 3 podcast today. So going back and talking about old video games again. So should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and since you're new on here, Jeremy, would you like to add anything new for kind of starting off our topics here?
I don't know. Long-time listener, first-time guest. It's a cool setup down here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of fun to play podcaster.
Yeah. Basically have a whole radio studio down here, which is awesome.
Kind of.
So
yeah.
It's really cool.
It's not far off in my experience. Yeah.
So
it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm, pretty professional setup. So that's how I roll.
There you go.
Yep.
It's cool. We got the on-air sign and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
We'll get some video equipment going on pretty soon in the near future for future episodes as well. So that's all a work in progress. But for now, we're all audio for now.
Nice.
But one of the big things you wanted to talk about too was you said there's a new Paper Mario going to be coming out, a remaster.
Yeah, it's a full remaster. I mean, we're gonna get into a lot of different video games today, probably, but what I'm currently most interested in is the Paper Mario series. It's always hovers in my top 3 games. The GameCube Paper Mario 1000-Year Door. I think it's the first video game I bought with money that, who knows how I got money being a fucking 10-year-old or something.
Yep.
Maybe not even. But yeah, it's a GameCube game, obviously, which is near and dear to my heart. Many a GameCube title that I hold dearly, like Luigi's Mansion, top 3. You know.
I remember Luigi's Mansion. That was a classic.
Yeah.
I think the Paper Mario franchise stemmed out of like the original Super Mario RPG, which came out from, I think, on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because it's an RPG like Mario game. So, and I think from Super Mario RPG, because they never really made another one again, they ended up making Paper Mario for the N64, the next generation console. And then with the generation after that, they created 1000-Year Door Paper Mario.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the whole chain of RPG Paper Marios really kind of like started and where it's at.
It seems like it. I mean, as like a 10-year-old, I'm not fucking thinking about the story arcs or the progression of these games, but like that's where this game was in like the series of those. And I actually just picked up the Switch remaster of Paper Mario RPG. I haven't cracked it open yet, but
You mean the 7 stars?
yeah, oh yeah, I've heard it's they made it way easier.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say, let me know what you think because it's hard.
Okay, cool.
That's
Yeah,
I have not played that one yet. So what's that one?
Oh, it's
like?
really good. It's really good. It's weird because it introduces like characters that do not exist in the rest of the Mario universe.
Yeah, which is sort of a like Mario RPG, Paper Mario kind of thing.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, and is the reason that more recent Paper Mario entries have utterly failed because they're not allowed to do that anymore.
They have to use what's already there. They
Yeah.
can't create anything new and original.
Like explicitly, I forget who at
wow.
Nintendo said they can't like create new characters. So
Oh, wow.
everyone's just like Toad or Koopa.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Really?
or Shy
Oh.
Guy. Like it's kind of lame, and the partner system is kind of washed away. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it feels very limited from what it sounds like.
Yeah,
So that
like
stinks.
the creator's hands are kind of tied, at least in the state it's in right now. I played the Origami King is the newest entry for Switch.
Yeah. And that one you told me, like, avoid that one because it wasn't as good as the previous ones we played. Because I got into the original Paper Mario for the N64. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm currently replaying that. But Origami King, it lacks the soul. And I don't know. This is probably stupid and trying to be deep or something. But like Paper Mario for N64 was like, upon playing it recently, it's like cozy and like warm and friendly and like, I don't know. It just feels like a hug.
Well, it's supposed to be like
awesome.
kind of a storybook, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like it's flipping through the pages. Each one's a chapter.
It's like childlike and
Yeah.
silly and like, I don't know. Origami King is like, I don't know. Every second is a joke and like it's so dramatic and like kind of a caricature of itself. The origami shtick and the like paper elements are fun, but it's like Paper Mario wasn't designed to be like, oh, look at this gimmick of paper, but also there's Mario. It's like, hey, this is Mario. It just happens to be in paper format. Like, it's still a good story.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I see as the difference. I have many opinions about this if we can't tell.
I think that a lot of the newer Mario games kind of have lost a little bit of the direction or the feel of the originals. Like they're all very clean and like now very 3D. Like
yeah, almost too clean.
I feel like they're not as cartoony as they used to be.
Yeah,
which is a large part of the appeal for me.
Yep. Yeah, it feels like they've gotten a little bit more serious because like it seemed more like I don't know. I guess innocent is that kind of a word?
I guess so. Yeah. Maybe unserious. It was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I feel like something was kind of lost in the past there.
Yeah. I don't know.
They've come out with so many sequels to like all the different Mario games too. I mean, oh my gosh, it's like they keep on pounding out more and more of them.
It's tough because it's a problem of like they're essentially the same games over and over. Like, how do you keep putting a new creative spin on it and have hit bangers all the time and no failures?
Well, the thing I wondered about too is the game Mario Maker, because like, okay, you can create any Mario level you want. How do you go up from there? How do you make a sequel to that game when you have unlimited access to make as many Mario type of games you want to?
It's kind of an interesting like social experiment thing, like giving the masses these capabilities and like it's so far beyond I think what the original creators would ever have envisioned. It's like the level design is so perfected and like cool and creative, and
some of them are just masterpieces and other ones are just such piles of hot garbage. Like, why would anyone spend the 2 minutes that they spent of their existence making this piece of shit?
Some people go out of their way to make such ridiculously like, why even bother levels?
Yeah, me and Shawn would do did we do the 100 Mario challenge a few times?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those things get crazy.
We had like a handful of game nights where we just like, I don't know if we ever got past like 4 or 5 levels into these 100 Mario. You get 100 lives and there's just a series of levels.
Yeah. Playing it on the hardest difficulty where it's just ridiculous.
God.
Like perfect timing on every jump.
Shell jumps and...
Yeah. Hell yeah. It goes up.
It goes up.
Ugh.
I do love those ones though. The ones that are simple, like speedrun based ones, where you have to like do it within like 30 seconds.
Those are really fun.
Some of them are just designed so well that it's just, like, satisfying is like the best word for it.
Hell yeah! It's like the stage is time limited, and you get like 20 seconds or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
As long as there's like jumps and stuff in it. I don't like the ones that are just hold right or don't
just
do anything.
run the entire time.
Autos.
Like, yeah. Some of them are cool with like when they have the music and stuff in them, but like it's not the same. If I don't actually have to do anything, there's zero challenge. So why? Or just skip this level.
Eric, did you ever play the Mario Makers?
I played, I think the original one I played a little bit of, but I don't know about like, the second one and like wherever they're at with the Mario Maker, series now. But I remember playing the original one, and I remember watching Markiplier play through like a couple playthroughs of Mario Maker as well, and him getting completely frustrated over like jumping over certain things. Like, why can't I pass this?
It's a very fun game to watch people play.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's a great way to describe it.
Glad they're going through the frustration, so I don't have to, type of thing. Because I'd be pulling my hair out right now. Like, give me a break.
Completely, but there were definitely some like almost controller throwing moments for me and Shawn.
Yeah,
many expletives were uttered.
Yep. Done with this game.
Yeah, essentially.
I can't remember what the one level was when we were on vacation that time, but I remember playing it so many times, just over and over, trying to beat it and not beating it. We spent like 2 hours on it, and just being so disappointed.
Well, never getting those hours back. Yeah, shit's so fun.
When did that first Mario Maker game come out? Was that the Wii U, technically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sean had it on Wii U. I never played that one much because I guess like many people, I never had a Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
I bought one just for that game.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah.
Good purchase. So.
It was like way after the fact, way after when it had come out. Like it was probably only a year or two, maybe a year before Mario Maker 2 came out. I just wanted to play it so bad.
Nice.
Yeah, it was an interesting concept when it first came out because it was like, oh my god, you can generate your own Mario levels. That's crazy.
Yeah, kind of mind-blowing at the time. It's kind of weird for me because I guess I played like Super Mario Bros. On like a Game Boy Advance or something like, growing up, but like I don't know, I was never super into the like side-scrolling Marios. So Mario Maker is just like I'm more into that than I ever played the original Marios.
See, where Shawn and I grew up, like we're used to like the original Nintendo Mario, like the little 8-bit when he's kind of like running, just like flat across the screen,
just like pixelated.
And All Stars, the Super Nintendo.
I remember, I think our cousin Andy was actually like, he was the video game retro savant. He's got like everything. And he ended up giving us a copy of I think an original Nintendo later on in time. And it had like 3 games on one cartridge. And it was the original Super Mario, it had Duck Hunt, and it also had Track Runner or something like that. Oh. And he gave us a trackpad. I remember running on that thing downstairs in the rec room like, ooh! And I don't know if it was registering or not, because like the guy would fail to jump over a hurdle every time. I'm like, damn it!
Like a peripheral attachment.
Yeah, it was like the DDR mat.
Yeah, just like the DDR mat. Yeah, you plug it right into your NES console, and you just sit there and like try and run on the little running mat in the middle of a track game.
The original Wii Fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think those ever worked right.
No.
I've never heard of anyone using it and having it actually
It was such a
right.
gimmick.
It's 100% placebo, and everyone's just flailing.
Buy this. Oh, man, it's running great.
Duck Hunt, though. That was great.
That was a great game.
With the little gun.
Which I don't think work on modern TVs now. If you try to plug in a Nintendo console to like a flat screen, it like for some reason I think that gun responded to like the curvature of the old SD TVs. And it gave you like an accurate thing of like where you would shoot your little electric gun from the NES, and it would register on there. Now it can't. So you actually have to buy a special type of gun that'll work with new HD TVs that are flat.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, but that was a fun game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And I don't even know if they made any other games on the NES that used it.
Right? You think they would have, because they had the attachment. But.
I think there's maybe one other one that I saw on like an Angry Video Game Nerd episode called like Bayou Billy or something that you can maybe use it for like one specific section of the game, which is kind of cool, but
had a cool sound to it too, didn't it? Every time you hit the trigger, it was like ba-dong, ba-dong.
Oh, the gun itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of spring-loaded.
Cool.
Did have a pretty satisfying trigger click now that I think about it.
Nice. Love all the crazy Nintendo peripherals.
Yeah.
They came up with.
Well, they brought it back for the Super Nintendo. There was another one that's it's like an arm cannon type mounted like rocket launcher one.
Yeah.
It's in Super Smash Brothers Melee.
It's this crazy looking bazooka thing. It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, it's an item.
Yeah, the thing that shoots the little yellow balls and you can charge.
Yeah.
The Super Scope.
The Super Scope.
I had no idea. Wow. Yeah, and you charge it up, that thing?
Yep, that
Oh,
thing. Yeah.
wow.
They
I had one.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had it for sale over to like a retro game store around here. I forget how much it was. It was like $200 or something. It's crazy.
God.
Should have kept that thing.
Yeah.
I bought it from GameStop for like $20.
Oof. Speaking of rebuying old games, I just rebought Luigi's Mansion for $50.
Now that's a deal for today's day and age. Oh my god!
Sadly, that's not bad.
For any Mario or Pokemon game, you're paying top dollar, usually over $100.
Yeah. And it's like it has the case and like the book and everything. Like I don't know, I just wanted the whole package.
Now, that's a score and a half right there.
Speaking of prices on retro stuff, Eric, maybe share the Nintendo the 64 story from the other day.
Oh, about that
the Marketplace one.
Oh my gosh, yeah, a guy on Facebook Marketplace, no names please, but basically he posted an orange like translucent N64, which I used to have back in my childhood.
I remember that one. Yeah,
a guy posted it for sale for. It was ridiculously low price. It was like it came with 2 awesome games. It was below $100.
It was like $75 for like the console, a controller. I think Mortal Kombat 4.
Like it was a trilogy of Mortal Kombat games and like
and something else
and some other really big name title game. I'm like, this is easily like a couple $100 to $500 bundle, and he's selling for $75. I'm like,
oh no,
I'm inquiring.
He doesn't know.
And then all of a sudden, like a day later, I go to check and. He put out this thing. He's like, after getting inundated with over 500 requests, I've decided to change my price. And he upped it to like $250 to $300.
Man,
and Sean's just like, what bullshit.
Well, didn't he start lowering it too after that?
He did,
like,
yeah.
He threw it up to 400, I think.
And then he dropped it down by $50.
And just kept dropping it. And I don't know. We should go back and see. We can see what it eventually sold for.
Come back, guys.
Or if he just took it. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Sean said, like,
got greedy.
I did my homework after the fact, but thanks for letting me know it's worth more.
Yeah,
oh shit, why isn't anybody buying it now?
Yeah.
Whoops. It's the good old congratulations, you played yourself.
It really is. It really is. I hope it's still sitting on his shelf and nobody bought it.
I went through and checked my listing on Facebook Marketplace, and it didn't sell. It still says available. So
Wow. Is it still there?
I think so. So I'll have to go check and see.
Yeah.
We got to go pick it up. Live on the pod.
Live.
We'll bring it along.
Facebook Live video.
Give us a discount now that nobody wants it.
Right. So, 75?
Yeah. Make sure to give my channel a mention.
Well, here we are.
I'm crawling back.
See, it all comes full circle.
God, that's funny.
Yeah, I remember Eric's sharing that with me one Sunday morning or something, just laughing.
It's like, you're not going to believe this story.
Man, that's great. Yeah, you're getting into some marketplace shenanigans.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you drove around Ohio yesterday picking up
all kinds of old Game Boys and everything. Yeah. I've got quite a collection starting to build up, so it's kind of cool going back and collecting these things now.
That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. So, never had all the different colored Game Boys before, and now it's kind of cool just kind of going through. And one guy traded me, I had an old Pokemon collection of stuff that just kind of sat around and gathered dust, and I traded for a purple Game Boy Color console for this guy because he said, I want either $100 or some Pokemon stuff for trade. And I reached out to him hey, I've got this Japanese version of the original green version, and he went absolutely all in. He's just yeah, let's do this. So he was beyond euphoric. Great trade for both of us because I got a game console. He got a really cool collector's game. He was so grateful. He said, Eric, I want to let you know this is going to become an heirloom. I'm going to pass down to my kids someday. He was so hyped. I'm dude, that's awesome.
When was this?
It was literally just yesterday.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool.
So he was just, all about it. I'm dude, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. So I love when good transactions work out in your favor like that. That's great.
Yeah, that's
for both
perfect.
parties. Unlike Mr. N64 guy.
Yeah. Different story.
So you're down to what? You just need the blue one?
Just the blue one. That and the atomic purple, technically.
Is that the translucent one?
Yes, the translucent purple. So that was the one. I swear that one sold the most because that's the cheapest one going right now. You can find it for $50 everywhere. And there's always missing the battery cover on the back for some reason.
I was going to mention that.
Everybody's I got it for sale, but there's no battery cover. I'm just
what?
I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I'm
maybe those little tabs that held it in would...
I think they would break.
Yeah, they would break.
Because I remember my Game Boy Advance didn't have a battery cover for the same reason.
That one had a very clunky battery cover, too, because it kind of hung awkwardly off the edge. Yeah, that was a weird one. That's why I always like the Game Boy SPs over the Advances.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, definitely superior.
Plus, it had
backlight.
Yeah, the backlight made a huge difference.
Flip it and close it to protect the screen, unlike the other one that was just...
I
did not like the regular design of the original Advance. That thing was awkward as hell.
Do you remember all the hilarious accessories that came with the old Game Boys, the Game Boy Colors? The squiggle light that came up and tried to illuminate it?
You have the camera upstairs, don't you?
Yeah, someone actually traded me the Game Boy camera, so which is kind of cool. If you test that thing out, it's it looks all pixelated and grainy, but it's a legit camera.
Oh yeah,
so,
I have one too.
Do you?
It's great. Yeah,
it's a cool little throwback.
Yeah, that stuff's fun. I feel like they don't do that much anymore.
Nah.
There's the Nintendo Lab or Labo stuff you build out of cardboard, but about as close
I forgot
as it
about
gets.
that. Yeah.
Well, back in when we were growing up, there was a whole bunch of third-party companies that would create all kinds of accessories extra controllers and extra attachments that you could put onto certain things. I remember one I bought, which is terrible, was when the Xbox 360 first came out, they had people worried about Xbox 360s when they first came out overheating. So they created a little fan attachment you could put underneath it. Unbeknownst to us, we think, the fan's cooling. No, it's sucking dust up into your console, and it burned out my Xbox twice as fast.
Nice.
Fuck. So it's
I remember those things.
That's why it's not licensed by Microsoft. Dang it.
Damn. You played yourself. Damn. I remember that, the little stand that you could hold games.
Held it up right. I'm just it's going to prolong the life of my console. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Backfired.
Wrong.
Red rings. It blasted.
Sound of the red ring.
That actually happened to one of my old Xbox consoles, Xbox 360.
I forgot.
Gave it to Kevin, and he literally shot it with a shotgun.
You mentioned that on a previous one of these pods, and I was like, oh yeah, that actually happened. Rest in peace.
Kevin doesn't mess around.
Elite.
And I think I gave Shawn my old, it was 120 gig, which was big gigs at the time for the Xbox 360 I think it was like a memory card or something you placed on top of the old consoles. I think
it was the hard drive.
Yeah, the hard drive. I gave him the Xbox 360 Elite hard drive.
Yep.
So
I think I still have it too.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was because my 360, the last one that I had, died, and we beat it to death with a hammer. Well, I guess it was already dead, so we destroyed it after the fact.
We're pretty brutal out in the country.
Body.
I mean, it's a thing now. There's like rec rooms and stuff. It's like a business.
It was really satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
there's something about
Get your frustration out. It's like, you know what? You quit on me, we're going to put you out of your misery. Bye.
Fuck those consoles. They'd go down as probably my most hated console, to be honest. Like, I loved a lot of the games for it.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck that console.
But it did, like, they burned up like crazy. I swear we burned through at least 2 or 3 of them before they came out with, like, the third generation, which has, like, a whole different type of look to it. And those things, they finally fixed the problem.
God, so probably like 6 or 7 years down the line.
Yeah, it was too little too late, and it burned out a lot of players. So, and frankly, I don't blame them. So they just turn their nose up at it. It's like, you know, I'm tired of like paying all this money for a console. It's just going to burn up.
Yeah, it's kind of lame. I mean, they'd let you like return them, right? And they'd fix them or whatever for the red ring thing.
They ended up
for that,
yeah. They ended up offering something like years later. They finally said, you know what? Hey, we screwed up on this one little component. We realized something went wrong. If you want to like have a refurbished one, send it in. We'll send it back. So, and I think I did it the one time and it still got red ringed. So,
damn.
Yeah. So, darn if you do, darn if you don't type of thing.
I guess.
Nintendo was really good about that stuff too. Like, I guess they had the Joy-Con drift issue.
Yeah.
My Nintendo Switch had that problem for the longest time. So I sent mine in and they were really good. They gave me a new one back and it works fine now.
I did the same thing like about a year ago. And like, I think the one they just sent me like a brand new one. It's like, okay, shit.
Yeah, Nintendo customer service has always been good. Yeah. You ever had to send anything back to Sony? I never heard anything with them. So built to last.
They're like, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't think I've
stuff.
ever had any issues with any of my Sony stuff like dying or breaking or anything like that.
Awesome.
Can't relate.
I don't know that I've had any issues with any of my Nintendo stuff either. Yeah. Like I know the Joy-Con thing was a thing, but
yeah, even that's kind of a fluke. Like they make a pretty good product down the line.
I ended up buying like an actual like controller, kind of like, you know, it looks like an Xbox 360 controller, but you can play it on the GameCube or on the Nintendo Switch. That thing works flawlessly.
The Switch Pro or whatever.
Yep. And then we bought the Pokeball Plus for like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. That thing works great for that game too.
That's cool.
So,
that is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And Nintendo still comes out with a lot of like, you know, extra accessories and everything, which is kind of cool. That's always been their thing.
After listening to your Pokemon pod, I think that I'm about to start a new run of Leaf Green or one of the Game Boy games because I've only played Silver like one time.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon was weird for me. Like everybody else knew like back in the red and blue like days like how to do everything. So like if I ever got stuck, I'd just like go to some random person in school and be like, help me get through this part, and they'd be like, okay, and they just do it. Like, but for Silver, like I remember getting lost like at the beginning of the game, be like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm supposed to do in this game. Like I had to go to Blake and have him show me what to do.
Like, what do I do, man?
And now going back, I feel like it's finally time to play this game by myself as a 30-year-old person.
As an adult man.
Yeah. You can do it.
If I can't get through it, then I'm just going to sell it.
It was meant to be.
My personal preference, those games are quintessentially my favorite. And also, I think they're the best-selling games for the Game Boy Color franchise. So the best-selling games were Gold and Silver version, not Crystal.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, Gold and Silver. For that generation,
it sold more than Red and Blue?
Well, for that generation. So I think,
you mean Generation Pokemon.
Yeah, because I think Red, Blue, and Yellow came out for the original Game Boy, technically. It wasn't actually built for the Color, although I guess some Yellow versions might have been, because I think there was a special like Yellow version Game Boy, like Pokemon Game Boy that came out for the Game Boy Color.
Okay, I've seen that.
And they released that together with Pokemon Yellow. So some were, I guess,
that
with color.
Sense.
Other ones weren't. But like, it says, if you look on Wikipedia and everything, it'll say the best-selling game for the Game Boy Color was Gold and Silver version. So, and my preference, always loved Gold. So I play that one all the time.
I remember you having one growing up for sure. And honestly, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
You had a bunch of Pokemon.
I went deep into Gold. Like, I guess the difference between the two, I think it's like, okay, the Pokemon that's on the cover of those things, you're able to get them at a lower level, I think, is the big thing. And they're able to learn different moves. So
interesting. I didn't know that.
If you play Silver version and you run into Lugia, that's the picture on the front of the Pokemon Silver case. It's like a big old seabird looking thing. You'll actually catch them at level 40, And then the other one, which is Ho-Oh, looks like a giant turkey on gold version. He'll be, I believe, level 70 when you get him, and he won't know Sacred Fire. So, and the same thing with, when I play gold version, I go to catch Lugia. Lugia is level 70, and he doesn't know his special move, Aerial Blast.
Interesting.
So that's why if you play silver, you'll get Aerial Blast with Lugia, and then if I play, Pokemon Gold, I'll get Sacred Fire with Ho-Oh. There's the difference in those two games.
I think I could be wrong on this, but the trainers that are in like that special cave at the end, they're different too, right? Like one of them is red on one version, and the other one is trainer blue on the other version. That
I'm not sure yet. I know for a fact it's red at the end of Pokemon Gold. So because I played through that thing, I don't know if I've ever gotten to or beaten silver to that point. So I can't tell you on that one.
Yeah, I think it might be different.
Might be.
And he has like one or two different Pokemon on each version, I think.
While we're on the topic of talking about exploring the wilderness throughout the world of Pokemon, I figure I'd drop another plug in here. So if you get the chance, check out another one of my audiobook narrations now on Audible called Greater Than a Tourist, Pennsylvania Wilds, 50 Travel Tips from a Local by author Karen Bell and narrated by me, Eric Brown. It gives you some interesting insight into the wilds and full of all kinds of interesting tips, so definitely check it out. And we're back to the pod.
The only one of those I've fully played and beaten is Fire Red, and I did it on an iPhone 5 emulator that was somehow not banned.
That's a cool little remaster of Pokemon Red version, because you're able to like actually sprint in the game, make it go way quicker.
That was really nice.
Because I plopped in, the original yellow version, and you were just plodding like da-da-da-da-da-da, just walking ever so slowly. I'm like, oh my god.
It's rough before you get the bike.
It is. Yeah. I actually cheese all this stuff because I've got Pokemon Stadium 2. I've unlocked what's called the Doduo and Dodrio Game Boy Towers. It'll play it at 4 times the speed, so
nice.
I play it like lightning fast now. I'm like, thank God. Although you have to turn down the volume because it is just like...
it's so
ridiculous.
Unbearable.
You'll hear all the little noises and songs all sped up 4 times. It's like, oh my God. So turn that down, turn on a podcast, you're good to go.
I don't know why they would think that was a good idea.
I don't know.
Honestly, they're probably just lazy. They probably just like, make it to where you can play it this fast. Who cares about the rest of the details?
Yeah.
Yeah, in certain areas, it's just like, oh my God, just unbearable to listen to.
I think that Leaf Green and Fire Red are probably my favorite as well. Like, I love the originals a lot, but those ones are so good just because you could get stuff from Ruby and Sapphire with that game, and you could also get stuff from Pokemon Coliseum as well.
It just, for some reason in my head, was like, I thought of it as the one to play if I'm going to play any of them.
And I forget what the version after was. Is it Diamond and Pearl?
I believe so, yeah. I think Diamond and Pearl came after those ones. Because I think first was Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, then Fire Red and Leaf Green, then Diamond and Pearl.
So on Diamond and Pearl, you could do this thing where you could migrate Pokemon from your Leaf Green and Fire Red. So if you wanted to keep like your same squad, just bring them on over to your Diamond and Pearl. Yeah.
Sweet.
Really cool.
Because that was the big turnoff between like Pokemon, all the original Pokemon games and the Pokemon games for the Game Boy Color. You couldn't transfer them over to Game Boy Advance. Like in between, like what is that, Ruby and Sapphire? Yeah, they were incompatible with each other, and I'm just like, what the heck is this? So I don't think that's why I really ever picked up on those games back then. So
I like I have no segue to this, but like as a youngest sibling, I have this weird relationship with video games, especially in our family. Like the way we grew up, it was like
it's like 2 different like lifestyles growing up.
Yeah, basically,
you were around video games the whole time, where I was forbade for the longest time.
Like I got these like random hand-me-down games that like you guys already had, like you guys got to know and loved, and I was just kind of thrown into it, and I was like, whoa, everybody else likes these, so I guess I like them and I'll play them too.
Trying to keep pace. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some games I kind of discovered on my own and fell into, but I feel like I inherited all these interests from you guys. It's kind of interesting.
That's only natural too, I feel like, because you're overly exposed to all this stuff. Because Ryan's getting into a whole bunch of games. He got into way different games than I did too.
Yeah, more like, I don't know, like shooting games and different stuff. Yeah, he got into the Call of Duties and stuff a little bit more than I think he did.
We both landed into Halo about the same time too. We went hard in that sucker.
Oh yeah.
So, But yeah, he got more into Call of Duties than I did, so.
And Ryan's modded Xbox.
Yeah,
fucking
that was classic.
so good.
Yeah.
It's like every game and got super banned on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so sad. He did one of those for me too, and it ended up getting like locked isn't really the right word, but I forget what I think it was Van Helsing, the movie Van Helsing. If you put the DVD in like your Xbox and watched it, it had an option where you could play a demo of the Van Helsing game.
Oh, nice.
And when I did that, it was like, oh, you have to update. Like, you have to have a specific version to be able to play this that's also included on this disc. So I'm like, okay. And I did it, and it updated, quote unquote, the Xbox. And now I can't access any of the mod shit that's on it. Like, it's still there. It's still in, like, the save files. Like, you can see it, but you just can't access it. Like, it used to be...
Stinks.
I think you just had to hold like the back button when you started up the console
Because it was soft modded?
Yeah, mine was. Yeah, and it would flip over to that, like to your mods menu, and now it's just like a regular old Xbox.
Oh, so that wasn't like an anti-piracy thing or anything. It just like overrode the software.
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay.
You might be able to get back into that because I finally picked up a game. I think it's Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell is one of like the trigger games for the original Xbox that'll jump into the soft mod menu. So if you go in and like, I don't know if it makes you load a special file and it'll jump over to this thing, but that's how you can soft mod an original Xbox. So
I'm really curious how me and Eric's brother Ryan got into modding and like self-taught all this stuff.
You guys learned way more about the computer side of that stuff than I ever got into. I was just stunned Ryan knew so much.
I mean, hey, the power of the internet, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I remember like growing up saving my like save data and walkthroughs on floppy disks.
Nice.
I would literally just sit there and be like, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and like, okay, how do you get all the masks? And I used to scroll down through all these pages to finally find the stupid thing I'm looking for.
I feel bad about this, but with Paper Mario, I remember physically printing out the entire walkthrough.
Oh, God.
From like IGN or GameFAQs
Game
or whatever.
Facts, let's go.
Dude, every page I just hit print, and it was going for like half an hour. And I was
Is this
like,
going to stop?
I don't know how to stop the printer, and I'm 10 years old.
I did the same thing. At like
So
12
much
years
ink.
old with Mario RPG.
Oh, my God.
Hell yeah.
They're probably like 700 pages.
Easily. It was like 2 inches thick.
Oh,
It was
man.
crazy.
I remember my stepmom being like, "Don't tell your dad. He's gonna be so mad if he knows."
Ink is so expensive.
Ink was so
It's
expensive.
it
like
was.
crude oil.
Yeah.
God.
Well, this one comedian actually did a stand-up thing and said, like, printer ink is worth more than human blood.
God.
It's just like, holy crap.
That's about right.
Yeah, it
probably
is crazy, the price of ink.
Fucking
But yeah,
like-
back then, I remember we had like the old, like, was it the double notch printer that had like all the little punch out
Oh,
holes?
God.
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
We printed out those things, it'd be like, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
the combo fax
tearing
machine.
the little things off the side. It was so satisfying.
Eric, where'd the paper go? Don't worry about it.
I forgot about the attached pages.
Oh, yeah.
That thing was crazy. Mm-hmm. Huh, damn.
Back in the days of old printers and pagers.
Same feel as the notebook paper peeling the edge off.
Yeah. Well, that shit was perforated from the printer, so you could like just trying to get as many pages in one little snake as you could.
All 3,000 pages.
Yeah.
One thing we did have growing up, we had like an old DOS computer. Do you remember this thing?
Oh yeah, I remember
And
it.
we played like the old Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem and Jetpack.
Yeah, on the old DOS computer. And they actually have Mario teaches typing on there too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Mario teaches.
what in the world is a Mario game doing on this
Damn.
DOS computer? What the?
Oh my
don't know.
god. Dude, on a I went to first grade at this weird like it was a private like Catholic school that our mom was teaching at for like a year for some. It was a weird set
You're
of
basically following
circumstances.
along with her while she was going out and doing
Yeah.
her teaching in different places.
I got like thrown into this Catholic school for first grade and then no more school than that. But anyway, there were these old Macs. You remember the like cow looking like bubble like fishbowl ones?
Oh yeah.
And I went on this like research journey recently where like I remembered this game where you were a dinosaur and you had like rockets attached to you and you got to like shoot them at other dinosaurs and like collect eggs and there were like volcanoes and shit. And I'm googling. This was like a years long
Was it
process.
3D or like a side scroller?
It's 3D.
Okay.
It like felt so cool as a kid. It was like my favorite thing to do. And like finally I stumble on this like video of this person playing this old Mac game called Nanosaur. And I download the emulator and I get in and I'm like, oh my god, this is it. kind of sucks. I'm like, no. I'm like, how many other things from my childhood do I just have like rose-colored glasses?
Yeah.
Like the gimmick is cool. You're a dinosaur and you shoot rockets, and it looks like
badass.
Looks like garbage now, but yeah, I don't know. It was just cool to discover that, and that I wasn't just making it up.
Yeah. I have no clue what this game was, but Ryan and I can remember playing it with him and just laughing our asses off because it was like this weird, I think it was a collection of games, but one of the games on it was like you would make ice cream cones for like these animal characters. Like they would come in and they would place like their specific order. So it was like different types of ice cream and then different toppings. And you're supposed to build the ice cream cone that they want, right? But one of the toppings was like barf. And like no one would ever order it, but you could just put it on there.
That's so funny.
And I remember us just like losing it over just putting the barf on everybody's ice cream and just thinking it was the funniest shit ever.
Everyone's like, oh, you got barf again.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure the characters would do stuff like that, just like, this isn't right, but then they'd leave anyways.
That's so
Sounds like one of those cooking type games where it's like, you're like rushing against the clock to basically fulfill an order type of thing.
Overcooked or something. Unoriginal.
Yeah, I have no idea what it was, and it probably wouldn't have been on the DOS computer, but like
It probably Windows 95 type of thing.
Yeah, or 98 maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I remember when I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old, I was like way young in grade school, and our Aunt Susan ended up giving me NFL Math, which for some reason the NFL partnered with some software company to give this really shit-ass software game.
Never heard of this.
And it's like you had to sit there and like punch in a bunch of different math problems would like come up, and the guy's like, red 10, red 10, huh? And you're sitting there trying to figure all these problems, and you're gonna get tackled. It's like, damn it. You get it right, and it's like, it's been intercepted. Like, how does this work? I got the answer right.
As a kid, you have like no concept of what this is for. It's like
Giving you extreme anxiety for your math test.
There was that in Math Blaster back in the day.
I feel like I remember that one.
Yeah. There was like all these like, they were trying to come up with all kinds of different software to get kids like, oh, let's educational video games
to
try and beat the stigma, because video games were always violent, back then, because they were creating just back in the early 90s, they were trying to make it like a rating system and everything. So they always had like, video games tend to have a stigma of like, oh, they're bad or blah, they'll rot kids' brains. So they threw out a lot of these software programs like, see, not all video games are that bad. So, but they had some really clunky little games.
Yeah.
Like NFL Math. What in the world?
I mean, if you're creating that game, like, how do you balance making a good game with like teaching kids? Like, that's got to be such a fine line.
Yeah.
I don't know, because as a kid, there's something inherently fun about like barf ice cream cone,
right?
Or like dinosaur launching rockets.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Now, when you were going through grade school, it was probably different for you, obviously, than me, because we're about like a whole generation apart here.
Yeah.
I grew up going to school. I remember like playing Oregon Trail on the old DOS computers.
Man, wow.
Yeah.
For real.
That was a whole different thing for us. I was just like, so like you died of dysentery, lose the game. Like, oh. Damn it.
Dude, I remember being so sad because we didn't play the DOS one, but we played like an updated version.
Yeah.
And it was like a contest. And I was one of the last 3 people alive, I think.
Really?
And I remember just logging into it one day and just had a message that just said, "You were fried." And I was like, what the All right. They ran out of water or something and just died.
God.
Mint.
Hey, that's how it goes on the Oregon Trail. Man.
The thing that
So close, too. I was out in the mountains.
The thing that always got me was like at the very end, you had to cross that stupid river, and you could turn your wagon that you've been traveling with this whole time into a raft and have to dodge rocks. And I would always, my wagon would collide into a fucking rock and be like, everybody drowned and died. Game over. Like, what? After all this, and literally all you do was cross a freaking river and you're there. I'm like, damn it.
So close.
Oh.
So far.
So what games did you end up having to play back in grade school, like actually in class? Did they have anything?
I think so. I don't know if any were for education, or at least maybe I don't remember those. I know I played the putt-putt games, the Purple Car. There's this one I still can't remember that's like you were finding puzzle pieces and you had to complete the puzzle. It might have been a putt-putt game, but I don't think it was. There was like magic and like obviously it was like a hidden object game like all those other like grade school computer games were. But I don't know. I'm still searching for that. I'll hopefully find that someday. Other than that, I I guess, inherited a couple like handheld consoles, like that Game Boy Advance. I think I got from Ryan, or maybe you. I don't remember.
It was either me or Ryan traded, I think, a Yu-Gi-Oh card and got a Game Boy Advance for it. So
Awesome.
was that from you, Sean?
It was from me. Yes.
Yeah, it was Sean's old Game Boy Advance.
Really?
So,
Okay.
Bad trade on my end.
Yeah.
But I really wanted that Black Skull Dragon.
Yeah. That was a cool card, too.
Yeah.
That one actually might be worth more than the Game Boy now. So we'll have to go back and check.
I don't know. I don't think any of those. I'm not sure if any of those Yu-Gi-Oh cards held their.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. If
Yeah.
it
I don't think they're
aged
worth as much as Pokemon cards, but I think the original Yu-Gi-Oh is still worth quite a bit.
well.
So.
Didn't they?
I don't know. We'll have to look it up because I don't think it is because I have some stuff still at home and I looked up a couple years ago to see if any of it was and it's all like pennies.
Really?
Isn't Yu-Gi-Oh famous for like they kind of broke the game with
Yup.
like newer cards?
Yup.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, the anime like completely broke the rules because like the anime is all about the card game itself because it is a card game, and like the original first season, like it completely ignored the rules at all. It's just like, oh, just summon a dragon first thing, and like,
Yeah.
like what the heck is
It's
this?
a good show though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
very entertaining.
A lot of fun. And then past the Game Boy Advance, I somehow ended up with a PSP. I might have been taking it from Ryan.
That was
when he wasn't
Ryan's.
looking.
Had to be.
Ryan had the PSP.
And I played MX versus ATV a bunch.
Oh yeah.
I forget what other games we had for that.
Battlefront.
Oh yeah, we definitely
Star
had
Wars?
Battlefront for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That was in handheld form.
It was actually good too.
That's
Wow.
what I mean. It actually felt like a portable PlayStation, like they said. It was wild at the time. It was just like, oh my god.
The little mini discs, those were cool.
Do you remember like they actually had like TV episodes for the Game Boy Advance that were actually in game form, and you could basically plug it into your Advance and watch a TV series.
Weird. Huh?
Yeah, they had those.
I don't remember
I
that.
never saw that.
Yeah, like Nickelodeon had a couple of those, and I think Shrek 2 actually had a whole movie.
The movie? Wow.
Yeah, Shrek 2 is actually for a Game Boy Advance. Check it out. It's wild.
What are you playing? Oh, I'm watching Shrek 2. It's like 2-inch
On it with
screen,
2-inch by 1-inch screen. Yeah.
out loud on the 1-inch speaker.
I was scrolling through TikTok one day, and I just saw somebody plug it into an Advance. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, that was actually a thing. Unbelievable.
Damn.
It is.
Huh. I love those fringe ideas though,
Yeah.
like the peripherals and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just so little of that, like those shitty creative ideas make it through anymore.
Well, I feel like they don't even try to do any of that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them, like the DS, are just kind of built-in gimmicks.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember when Xbox 360 first launched, they were trying to keep pace with PlayStation because PlayStation 3 at the time released with a Blu-ray player. That was the big get. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you had a Blu-ray built in. So Xbox scrambled, and they're like, well, we've got an HD movie player here.
Oh my god.
So for a while, you'd have to get HD movies on, like, I think they came in a red disc.
the red case.
Yeah, the red
Yeah,
cases.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a war of platforms, and Blu-ray won out. But those HD DVDs, like those things, they went by the wayside. But there was like a little attachment that you could get for the 360. Once again, more bells and whistles.
Yeah.
And yeah, that thing just fizzled out after a couple of years. So, but Blu-ray won out.
Have you ever seen Tropic Thunder?
Yes.
There's a part in there where he's talking about that, and I don't know
HD
where he's talking about the HD versus Blu-ray, and I don't know if it's true or not, but he says that Blu-ray won because it's what the porn industry went with
Wow.
as their HD format.
Or if there's any truth behind there.
I don't know. I've never looked it up,
In
but I was like,
Tropic
I could
Thunder?
believe it.
Wait,
I'm
what?
pretty sure it's in Tropic Thunder.
In like the bonus features or like the
No, part of the main movie.
Yeah, it's like one of the skinny
Oh.
guys like talking to one of the characters when they're
duh.
walking through like the mountains.
Oh, okay.
I just always thought that like Sony just had like the extra, like they create Blu-ray players and everything. So I figured they'd just add extra traction. So the Blu-ray had already like basically set its foundation where HD had yet to catch on.
Yeah.
So, and that's why they ended up winning that platform.
Damn, so weird. Yeah, I was like fucking in that era, like 360 versus PS3. That was intense. I remember the Halo 3 launch and everything.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I was way hyped for that. That was cool.
That was, yeah. Oh my God. That was Halo at its peak, I feel
Yeah.
like, was the very release of Halo 3. Because after that point, it was a transitioning that was happening where the old Halo fans and new Halo fans were kind of like all coming together. Old Halo fans, obviously, were getting older, so they're moving on with different games. And Halo 3 fans really took hold.
Yeah.
And, you know, they swear by Halo 3 and Halo Reach, all those, like, what I would consider kind of like newer Halo games, even though they're not newer. But I always reach back for the original Halo and Halo 2. Those are kind of like my iconic Halos. But the soundtrack for all those were just
all of them
awesome.
Are incredible and like probably in my top 2 or 3 favorite video game soundtracks ever. So good. But like, I really like Halo 1 and 2. Like I've played, I don't know, up to like 4 or 5. And 3 is like, I was just at the right age and like, I don't know, I was just able to access that game a lot easier than the others, I guess. And I was like, my friends were on Xbox Live playing at that point, so like.
And Xbox Live came into its own because I remember before you had to get a parent's credit card number, or you had to go out and buy whatever it is cards in order to get access to Live. It was a really clunky system, and like us being in grade school at the time, we didn't have access to our parents' credit cards or anything.
Yeah. Right.
And they would be like, no way in heck am I signing up a random credit card for this thing? What's this Xbox Live nonsense?
Games?
Right.
No.
So, but that's why they came out with like, oh, hey, if you want a year of Xbox Live, buy this like $60 card. Yep. And it comes with a headset, and it's like, oh, that's a great deal. So you go out and buy those cards constantly and then keep on re-upping them. So, and then you had access through my account and probably through Ryan's account, because I think we both had one at the time.
Yeah, like whenever you guys wouldn't be playing, I was like, all right, my turn.
Yep. Yeah. Jump in.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was a revolution of sorts, too, because they never had like games like that. And it really kind of like, I feel like kind of took away, too, because there's not as much everybody coming together to play games. Like you're all basically in your own house, like playing at a distance away.
Yeah.
And playing over. I mean, you're still together, but not,
I was pretty young for all those Halo parties you guys had.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was still a part of it, but, like, I was getting killed way more than anyone else. Like,
we don't want Jeremy on our team.
I was still looking at the controller because I didn't memorize the button.
That's, I mean, you're trying to just keep pace with everybody, so.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, I think the script's probably flipped because, God, I haven't played Halo in so long since. I mean, I played recently with Ashley and everything, but, like, multiplayer Halo is way different than campaign Halo. Whole different beast.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah, Live was like so cool. It was the first time I was like playing on the internet with my friends. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on something that like not as many people before had access to it. Like it made it through the console, made it a lot more accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, online gaming existed before that, but on PCs.
Yeah, for like 20 years.
Yeah, but like it got huge to your point because it became so
Xbox.
easy to access. Like you don't need a credit card anymore. You can go out and buy these prepaid cards, which is what I always did. Like buy 3 months or 6 months or a year. And the games were so much fun and everybody was playing them.
Yep.
Yeah. You didn't have to go to some cryptic server and like fucking download some shady ass file.
And there weren't as many big titles to play online either. Like now people have so many options that I feel like it's so hard to play with your friends online because it's like, oh, so and so likes Halo, so and so only plays Call of Duty. Oh, I only play Diablo.
Kind of
like
too much, yeah.
So, but back then it was like everybody played Halo, so you have a huge pool of friends to play Halo with because it was the only thing everyone played.
Bingo.
It's kind of a blessing and a curse lately. Like we're embarrassed with games. I have opinions on game releases lately, releasing unfinished games.
Oh yeah.
What the hell, y'all? But
That's
like,
ridiculous.
there's like so much variety, but there's not those big like landmark games that everybody's playing.
Yeah.
I feel like anymore.
Well, that's why I'm kind of reverting back to the old retro stuff, because the other thing, too, is you ever hear the new thing with Ubisoft, what they're trying to do? In their games, they're trying to add like, in-game advertisements while you're playing.
Don't even get me going
Like,
on that.
what?
company.
It's just like, are you kidding? You spend all this money for a AAA tier game that's supposed to be a finished product. So, and yeah, literally just they end up like, oh, hey, now that you bought this game, here, check out other games that we've got, too. It's like, what more do you need?
I can't think of a more efficient way to alienate your core audience.
And they are, too. It's crazy.
Man, that's a bummer to hear. I'm hopeful for Nintendo going forward. I think there's going to be they're releasing Switch 2, or not releasing, but
I was going to say their
announcing.
next gen console's on the way, isn't it?
Yeah, there's hints that it'll be announced in the next like year, but who knows? For now, I'm riding the Paper Mario remaster wave, and I'm pretty hyped.
The closing days of the Nintendo Switch.
That might get me to get one, actually.
Yeah.
Because I would really like to play that. I know I borrowed it from you back in the day for the Cube, but I never finished it. So I would love to actually get to finish that
Hell
game.
yeah. Hey, I'll play RPG. You play 1,000 Year Door.
Okay.
There you go.
Deal.
Hell yeah.
Deal.
Nice.
And we'll trade notes.
Yeah.
I'll give you the 1,000-page printout that I
Right.
so you can
I
get
was just
it
about
through.
to say,
printer?
I wish I knew where mine
We'll
was.
trade. Oh God.
Yeah, that thing was great. Like, so I remember having that printout right? And there's no health bars for the bosses in that game.
Really? Wow.
So I would sit there with a calculator
and calculate out how much damage you're doing.
Because the guide had the boss's HP, so I would put in 5,000 or whatever, and then start minus every one of my character's attacks to know, like, am I going to make it? Am I going to beat the thing?
It's so close.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just include a health bar back then? Like,
that game is brutal, dude.
I don't know. There's
I've never beat it.
It's like the not knowing is somehow more like captivating. I think it's like, oh man, am I gonna make it?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you like easily beat someone. You're like, oh okay.
and there are some. It almost becomes like, especially with like the regular enemies, it's like becomes like a part of the game. Like you remember, okay, these guys have roughly this much health because. Yeah. So I know I can dedicate
use this
like
move.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in that game, there is like, if I remember right, some indication because like of different bosses. Like there's a squid guy, and I think like some of his arms will start to fall off. And like the main bad guy in the game is called Smithy, and he's like a sword with a face and like face parts like his eyes, and like he's got like the tang of the sword is like a mustache. It'll like start to fall off during the fight.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You like damage him more and more.
Yeah. Not every boss in the game, but some of them have. So you get like some indication, like, okay, we're actually making progress in this fight.
I've been spoiled a little bit with Gino. Gino looks awesome.
Oh, dude, he's sweet. He's sweet. And that's like one of those cool characters that I wanted to bring up earlier where you don't get it anymore because they're not making new characters. But he's like, he's a toy that is like enchanted by wherever the stars come from. It's like these heavens or whatever. Like, they send like someone down to help you, and it enchants this toy, and it turns it into like a person type thing, and he's one of your characters.
Hell yeah!
So if you actually ever get to see, because that game has like detailed 3D sprites that were in like the instruction book and in the guide, and if you ever get to see he has like he's like a doll, like he has like a little mouth that moves.
Okay,
and wooden like parts.
Not mannequin, ventriloquist.
Yeah,
doll. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really cool character. And I never realized either until I went back and played it in like my late teens that the first character you find, I think his name's Mallow, he's actually a cloud. Like I thought he was just some weird like fat looking character, but he's like a cloud, and that's why his special is like making like rain.
It all makes sense now.
It doesn't occur to you.
Right?
I didn't read anything when I'm like 10 years old playing the game, just skipping through all the dialogue.
Right.
Okay. Paper Mario GameCube, literally my favorite game. For like 10 years, I thought the main city was called Rougeport. It's actually Rogueport.
Oh, yeah.
My kid brain was like, yeah, I know that word. Yeah.
Nothing in here's red.
You just basically like swap a U or something like that?
Yeah.
Rouge and Rogue.
It's close, but like it's one of those things where like you never hear someone say it out loud, so it's like, yeah, I know what that is. And then you're like, oh no.
I had kind of like a mind blower moment over at work the one day. I was talking about this thing called a foyer, kind of like a little entryway before you go to business, and I called it foyer. And apparently over in France and I think up in Quebec, Canada, they'll call it foyer.
Yeah.
So it's once again one of those like lost translation type thing.
I think it is actually foyer.
Yeah.
At least like here. Languages regional.
Depends where you're at.
Yeah.
But it's one of those type of things. So.
Yeah, Rogueport. Who's to say?
Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Yeah. In France, they call it Rougeport. Nice.
There's another game that we definitely dive heavy into, which I don't think we've ever touched on yet, too, is Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
Hell yeah. So good.
That game, we literally... This is about, how many years ago now, where we actually just took a series of Mondays and beat the living tar out of that game.
That would have been 2014, I think.
Sounds right. Yeah, it was a series of like 3 Mondays in a row. We were just like, want to play Dark Legacy? Yeah, let's do it. It's a hack and slash game, and we just pounded through that sucker.
Yeah, like that was a blast.
Arcade style sort of feel.
Oh, yeah.
There's like so many worlds and like stages to the worlds. It's so good.
Because you brought up a thing about not seeing health bars on enemies and stuff like that. In certain versions of Gauntlet Dark Legacy, you don't see the health bars on certain guys.
On the bosses?
Yeah.
Really?
So, I think on the mini generals or something like that, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, got it.
But like, I think the main bosses, you'd see their health bars and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's just like the mini generals, you wouldn't see their health, and it's like, Rah!
Yeah, or the chimera things.
Okay.
The weird creatures. Claws. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. It was all like the little mini bosses in levels and stuff.
Yeah. Game's so fun.
Oh, yeah. That game, I think that's one of those classics we could probably play forever.
Have we beat it? I think we beat it once, didn't
we definitely...
As a group?
Yeah.
defeated it probably twice.
Yeah, I'd say at least twice.
Here.
Because it's Skarn or whatever. Scorn.
And Garm.
Yep.
Garm.
Evil Mage Garm.
Okay.
It does turn into a little bit of a slog towards the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of the part where it's just like, oh, here's 3 more levels where these skeleton armies that looks like it's ripped directly off of Evil Dead is attacking the tower.
I think the developers probably just got tired of like, you know what, let's just throw this random shit here and see if it works.
And it kind of makes me wonder, like, maybe there was something where, because it's basically a reskin of Gauntlet Legends, and I wonder if they signed a contract to be like, we'll produce another game for you guys, and you have to make X more levels. And so they were just like, all right, here's this other world.
Wow, maybe.
Well, they took a mishmash, I think, because, yeah, you said before that was Gauntlet Legends that came out for the Sony PlayStation and the N64 with one version, and then another version came out for the Sega Dreamcast and the arcade were different.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, and they took levels from both, combined it into a Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
Oh, okay.
And that's why you get like
you get everything.
Yeah, you get everything. Because I think in the Dreamcast one, I think you got the Egyptian level, which you didn't have in the N64 one.
Yeah, and I think that the Dream World is new for Legacy.
Yes, that was a newly created one.
And the Jester character as well, I believe.
Oh, man. Classic.
And I think the Lich levels, I think, were new as well, because the beginning starting level, I thought, was like, you are now entering the Cliffs of Desolation and all that stuff.
That is, yes, but the Dreamcast one had like 2 of those levels. It was really weird.
It was, but they were like long and meandering. There was like no, like, where do we go from here? It was just like an open sandbox.
That one was rough.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Feel so happy for you.
Yeah, imagine not having that.
Yeah.
We got to a point, too, where I think we kind of broke the game, because like we went in 2 different platforms, the Egyptian level, and there's no way to get away because we were on 2 different heights.
I was just going to mention that part of that pyramid level.
Yep.
Yeah. Broken.
Yeah, I don't think we've gone back to play it since then, because it's just
I was like, this is
so
garbage.
Bad. I was pretty mad.
Because we were slamming. We were well over halfway through that game. And he's like, enough. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
So, bomb it.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, yeah, Gauntlet Legends for the Dreamcast is kind of a rough play. So, just for heads up.
Some parts of it. I mean, I did enjoy it. I forget what features were exclusive to it.
Compared to the N64.
Yeah. I remember enjoying it, and then that happened, and I was like, I really don't want to play this level again, man. Like, we gotta time out on this one, and then we just never went back to it.
Dude, Dreamcast, all I can think of is Sonic Shuffle, and I know Shawn has strong feelings about Sonic Shuffle.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but...
Like I said, stacking them up against each other with Sonic Shuffle and Mario Party.
Oh, there's no comparison.
Yeah, Mario Party plays so much smoother. The minigames are more balanced, I feel like. Cause
I just wish the minigames were more fun.
Yeah.
Like, because I love the card system.
Yeah.
How you can only you get to see yours, and it's on that little thing that plugs into the controller. Like, that's really, really cool. But I feel like the core gameplay just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool that you can pick different directions to go in. Like, that's pretty interesting too.
How you're not going one specific direction the entire time. Like in Mario Party, you hit that dice, you're automatically going any particular direction.
Yeah,
like sometimes you can choose left or right. Like there's some forks in the road.
Yeah, if you get to a fork in the road, you can choose. But like you're basically on one linear path, basically for Mario Party.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Sonic Shuffle, you can basically be like, I'm going this way. No, I'm going to go back the other way this time. Which can drag out the game a lot longer. So you could really meander the heck of your way through that game if you wanted to and don't collect anything.
Precious stones.
Yeah, I was going to say, in Mario Party you have stars you collect. In Sonic Shuffle, it's precious stones.
Yeah.
It's from like beating like those weird little boss things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is also like weird to me.
Yep. Yeah. And you have to sit there and like there's a rotating card number or something like that, and you have to hit it at the right time in order to try and beat them with the right card numbers to match.
It's maybe this is what bothers Shawn about it. I guess I can't speak for you, but like it feels a little more random, like RNG based, like the card dealing out and the boss battles. Like maybe the mini games more so are less like skill based.
That doesn't even bother me.
Really,
it's like good for them for trying to make it different from Mario Party and adding more elements. I just think that the core fun of Mario Party is the mini games, and I just feel like they're not there in that game. Yeah. Like they're just not as good, or there's not as many, or they're just harder to get to. Because I can't remember how it works in that game, but in Mario Party, everybody takes their turn, then you play a mini game.
Yep.
I don't.
After
yeah.
everything.
But that's not how it works in the game,
No,
right?
Sonic Shuffle, you need to get on this green exclamation point button.
Yeah.
And it could either be one or two options. It could be a mini game or it could be a mini event.
Oh, the events
and
are
sometimes
so
the
dumb.
mini events absolutely dick you over. You could be like in first place with everything. It's like it brings in like this little cut scene where it's like trying to reenact a little mini play or something. It's like you're running full speed. Oh, you hit a brick wall. You lose all your rings. It's like,
It's like,
what?
Okay.
So that or you get like this little jewel called a carbuncle that eats all your special things.
Carbuncle.
Force jewels.
Yeah, force jewels. Oh my gosh.
Wild. I watched the Game Grump episode with they played Sonic Shuffle,
Grump.
and the fucking carbuncle ate all their shit.
Yeah,
it's like
those things are annoying
It's
as
a
heck.
meme now. Like the carbuncle ate itself. It's like,
What
what the fuck does that mean?
with the battle sequences too, where you're able to get those force jewels, or you can either go to a shop or do a battle and win those things. Then it allows you to like steal rings from a player, and if you get like a critical, you steal twice as many rings. So it brings up like a random roulette, and like you click A, and then suddenly like you and that person is gonna have a beef for like the rest of the game going forward.
Kind of. Sean, side note, we should make a Mario Party minigame tier list
Oh,
at some
that's
point.
I'm
I
sure.
already have one.
Absolutely. Bumper balls, number 1. Easy.
Where you're bouncing on the ball and you hit each other? Or
Yep,
is
you
that-
got to hit each other off the top of the mountain.
Okay.
That one and platform peril or hexagon heat, whatever you want to
Hexagon
call
Heat's
it.
great.
Hot rope jump.
Oh,
I remember that one.
3 top tier mini games.
See, I feel like the Mario ones, they're way more balanced than Sonic Shuffle was. Because Sonic Shuffle
would
games,
agree.
like Sonic DJ, good luck trying to win if you're on the stupid record. You're done. That or that stupid like soda pop game. Remember? Eggman be like shaking a thing like, ha ha! And he'd like close the thing and it's like, pick one random soda pop, and if you get the one that busts, then you lose.
That sounds like a good one.
It's kind of fun. Yeah.
So, had its moments. And then there was that like egg walker thing where you're like stomping the players.
Oh, yeah.
I do like the idea of like a grand stage escape mini game. Like each stage has its specific ending mini game.
Yep.
That was kind
like
of
on the
cool.
Firebird, you'd
That's
be doing
cool,
like a
too.
skydive or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what some of the other ones were. I know like you're outrunning an earthquake, I think, on that nature leaf
There's
level.
the surfing one.
Yeah,
and the
surfing one.
ocean level. There's something for the train one that I forget. Mm-hmm. The classic crocodile one. I don't know if that was a game.
That was an
ending one.
accident. Accidents are like random events that can happen in a game, and they were like busted as hell.
So funny.
Yeah, they were very broken.
God. Fucking Sonic Shuffle. I just had to mention it.
Like, it's almost like they committed themselves to, like, they tried to do too much and ran out of time, so they're just like,
Maybe.
we'll just throw, like, as many of the mini games as we have done, just ship the game, like...
Huh?
Well,
maybe.
it felt like Sega was always trying to play catch up, or like Sonic Team was trying to play catch up with like Mario games and everything. So they're like, oh, they came up with Mario Party here. This is our answer for it. So they try to throw something together real quick, and here it
Sonic
is.
Party. No, we can't use that.
Yeah, Sonic Shuffle. Hey, we'll use cards. There we go.
There we go, yeah.
So they've never come out with another one since. Although I'd love to see them try. That'd be a great.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, they should
Yeah.
revisit it.
if Sonic Shuffle Remastered came out.
Well,
Just make a new one. Fuck
the
it.
weird thing too, they don't even have Shadow on there because that predated Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh,
So it
yeah,
must have been what, year 2000 probably? Because
Yeah,
Sonic
probably.
Adventure came out in 2001. So
I forgot about Sonic Adventure.
yeah. Oh, that was the classic. That's one of the reasons I bought the consoles, because I'm like, oh wow, a 3D Sonic game. This is crazy. Not including 3D
fun.
Blast.
I remember playing that on Dreamcast. Actually, that
Oh
was,
yeah.
that was a really good time.
That was my first game console, and then a year later they went defunct. I'm like, dang it. Fuck. So
Yeah, November 2000. November 14th, 2000, Sonic Shuffle.
yep, sounds right.
Nice.
So yeah, we played that one quite a bit. I remember Mark loved that game too. So Mark and David, me and Ryan. I think Jeremy played with us a little bit later on too.
Yeah.
So,
I remember watching you play it back when you and Ryan still shared a room.
oh yeah,
The bunk beds.
used to have bunk beds.
Dude, the bunk beds.
Yeah.
I'd make forts in mine all the time. Just
Yeah.
take the bottom bed out,
Yeah.
covered in blankets.
I remember one time because we never had central air over at the house growing up, and we had a little fan that was on top of our dresser that was blowing out towards us in order to get like our only like sense of coolness during the summer. Remember the one time we bought I guess someone bought a big thing of baby powder, and Ryan and I proceeded to dump it into the fan because we're just like little grade school kids, like little dumb shits, and completely covered the entire room with talcum powder. Dad and Mom pop in the door, and we're just like, look, it's heaven.
They're like, no,
And they're
it's
just
not.
like, son of a... Oh, they were probably beat red angry.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
That's like kid brain shit again. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if we did this?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. In hindsight, this is not a good idea.
Believe, like the fucking the mustard fight or whatever I always hear about.
That was Shawn and Ryan, right?
Yeah.
You guys had like a mustard, like brand new bottle of mustard and ketchup, and like one person was mustard, the other person was ketchup.
I think I blocked out that memory.
Jeremy got inspired and proceeded to toothpaste our bathroom afterwards.
What?
Yes, that's what happened.
I like all over the mirror and stuff?
Yeah, just like, because you were inspired by, Shawn and Ryan. Yeah, basically, putting a whole bunch of, like, they were, playing, like, some type of squirt fight with each other. They're squirting mustard.
Do you not remember us spraying you with it?
Dude, someday it'll come up in therapy, but no,
No, bro, we covered you with it. It was really less of a fight between us and more of a pouring mustard on Jeremy.
It was a cover Jeremy and mustard party.
It's really more what it was, yeah.
And I remember, just like, Mom just like, what happened? And she's freaking out about this. And she goes in the bathroom like, what happened in here?
The more I hear about my childhood, I'm shocked I survived a lot of these shit. Like, Kevin hooked up it was like a trash can or something on like a rope behind the four-wheeler, and we filled the shit with like pillows and blankets, and we like rode around in the backyard. I'm like, I don't know, I was all about it apparently, but like, I could have been on the news. Like, it could not have ended well. Jeez, man.
Yeah, me and Ryan used to get in those plastic totes and ride them down the stairs.
Oh, nice.
How we never died doing that
stair
shit.
fall, yeah. You get all the couch cushions and put them on the bottom of the steps.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Mom and Dad bought one of those like big exercise like rubber bands that you get for like stretching out certain things. And I don't know if it was either you or Ryan were like spelunking off the top of the steps with that thing and like kind of half bungee jumping with it.
Holy shit.
And I think it ended up snapping. I think it might have been Ryan.
That sounds like a Ryan move.
Yeah, because I'm just like, holy crap, I never thought about that. That seems like fun, but not really.
Oh, God.
So what happens if it would have snapped and like, you'd smash your head on the staircase? Seems kind of bad in hindsight.
Your guys' stairs, they were carpeted, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like way back. Yeah.
I think eventually, were they ever just hardwood?
The entire house was originally all carpet, but because, me and Ryan were growing up and we would spill stuff and whatnot, Mom and Dad got the bright idea, let's just linoleum everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember they took out all the furniture, and Ryan and I had Hot Wheel cars. We would slide it all the way across from one end of the room, way over to the other, like, this is awesome. And they also had a dog that would rip up at carpet, so they figured, let's just take out all the carpet and put in linoleum. So that's what happened there. And that's why we got bunk beds, too, because the dog, it was our second dog, Max. He was actually tied out to a tree for like the first 4 years of his life and was terrified of storms. He would rip up furniture. And that's why Mom and Dad bought us bunk beds, each of us. So we would sleep on the top bunk, so that way, if there was ever a bottom bunk, he would rip it up. Wow. So there was nothing below the bunk beds.
Is that really why? I never put that together.
Yep, that's why.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's why we all each had bunk beds. And I'm just like, hindsight 2020, because we always use it for like extra storage and stuff. I was like, I could have put a desk there or something else to make the most use of that space, but you don't think about that stuff back then.
Yeah.
Out in the country.
That's for another podcast.
Well, like I said, this is video games and nostalgia, so we talk about all of the stuff from back then.
Yeah.
Back in the country days.
Hell yeah.
We're going down to the creek and catching a whole bunch of frogs and everything, too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very like analog childhood, but definitely a lot of games.
Yep. Very detached from everything. It was just, very peaceful.
Yeah,
in a lot
definitely.
of ways.
We were just like, it felt like separate from like the bigger world.
Oh, yeah. We were definitely like, detached out in the wilderness and everything. Very serene. Didn't really have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
So, other than like maybe a wild animal or two.
Yeah, just like a safe neighborhood in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, nice place to grow up, meet good friends.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So,
yeah.
Sean, an old neighbor.
Yeah.
And later, Matt, your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and we would still invite you guys over for like Halo parties and all that stuff, even when you moved like kind of further down the way and everything too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was a ton of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Ton of fun.
Yeah, being close by. And Kevin was always there.
Yep.
Just down the road.
He'd always pop by. I always felt bad for Kevin too, because like he'd be out late and he'd always get grounded. Like without fail. Just like, Kevin, you're grounded.
But yet he'd be over the next time anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
It was so unserious about it. Like, Kevin, you're half minute late, grounded. $5.
Shit.
Dang it.
That's a tough break there.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Kevin. If you're listening.
But you're right. He's always come back over. So
Yeah, good dude.
Yeah, we were all pretty inseparable back then. So even still today. So still in a podcast together. What do you know?
Hell yeah. We all high five. Anyway.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for our podcast today. But I wanted to thank you guys both for joining me for an awesome trip down memory lane and
of course,
talking some cool retro games and everything.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I wanted to gush about Paper Mario to someone. So.
Yeah, it's a good place to do it. So it all depends on the situation.
It did not go unheard because I'm going to play it.
Yep. Nice. So, see, inspiring people. That's what we do on this podcast, baby. So,
mission statement.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next time on the next pod. Take it easy.